going to have a real role from the jump. Look at the backfield, man. Number one, it's wide open. There's no clear-cut lead dog. There may be a guy that you might say, hey, this guy's a favorite at this point because, you know, free agency or because of a specific role, but there's no clear-cut, you know, Ezekiel Elliott in his prime, a franchise tag Tony Pollard. But more importantly, nobody in that room has the skill set that Blue brings to the table, right? His speed, the agility, the suddenness, it's unmatched. Nobody in that room on that depth chart on this team plays like him. Shouts out to Vox for the film right here. And based on how the Cowboys have approached this position in the offseason, I think it's very obvious that we're heading towards that committee or that tandem type setup, right? Once you got past the first few rounds and you don't take that workhorse lead type back, to me, you had to start turning the page to, okay, we got to start setting up this backfield to where we can run a 1-2 punch out. And I don't give a dang who the one is. Jaydon Blue's the two. He is the lightning. Whoever that thunder is, whether it's Devontae Williams, whether it's Phil, Mafa, Blue is the lightning. And what makes his role, I think, even more valuable is he doesn't need a lot of volume to make an impact. He is a low volume type of player that can have a high impact. I don't need to force feed him 20 touches to get him going. And how many times did we used to hear that over the years, right? Hey, man, we got to give him 20 plus touches because he got to get in the rhythm. And that's not to discredit backs needing the rhythm. You absolutely do need running backs to get in the rhythm. However, he don't need much. He can break one off for a long run, 40 yards, a tutty in his first 5-6 touches. And I think that could raise his value even more. Now, he does have to clean up the ball security issues. There's no doubt about that. He was fumbling like once every, less than 50 carries during his career at Texas. He'll even tell you that. It's something I got to clean up, something I got to get better at. And look, I think that's something that will happen. I told you this guy. I said this to you guys last week. If I'm getting 14 touchdowns out of Jaydon Blue and he's fumbling 4 times in the year, I'll live with that ratio all day and tomorrow. Not saying I'm okay with him fumbling, but you damn sure better be getting to the end zone if you're going to do it. I do think he can stand to be a better pass protector. He talked about, he's willing to put his body on the line. He's right. I don't think he'll ever be a guy that they'll lean on in that way. Because if they do, I think he'll be a liability. But much like Tony Pollard, when he first came in, Pollard was not a good pass protector, but he developed into a reliable one later on in his career. Can Blue do that? But that's where Blue in year one is really going to have the impact. That play you saw right there. Out of the backfield as a pass catching weapon. He's a mismatch all day and tomorrow. He's exactly the kind of rookie who doesn't need to be the starter to be a difference maker. He has a unique skill set. He's got the opportunity. And the way I think this offense is shaping up, there's a clear path to where he carves out a role. That's why I'm pretty stubborn here on his year one impact. I do think that Blue will have a big impact this season. He doesn't even need to be a 300 touch. Well, 300 touches is a workhorse. He doesn't need to be a 200 touch guy to have a big impact because he's a low volume type of player, low volume, high impact type of player. And I got 4 stars for his rookie impact, Cowboys Nation. Where would you give him on a star rating system for his rookie impact here? Let me go back to what Will McClay said, though. McClay said, I know Coach Schottenheimer has some tricks up his sleeve to use the skill set he has. And he said, can also win in man-to-man coverage versus linebackers. I want to take a look at a couple plays, if you guys don't mind. Now, I don't think Blue is going to be a gadgety player. I think he's better than being a gadgety player. I think your gadget player, and this is with all due respect to Turpin, is Turpin. Let Turpin be the gadget player. I think Blue can run the ball. I think Blue can catch the ball at the back. He can do more things for you in that manner. But I want to go and take a look at, because we've seen how he was used in college. What are some examples of how he can be used in the pros? So I said, let me go look at a player who I think could be most comp to as a receiver out the backfield, because I think that's where he can have a huge impact early on. And you might say, well, Sky, you're crazy if we're bringing up a name like Christian McCaffrey. I'm not saying this guy's Christian McCaffrey in general, but utilization out the backfield could be in a way like Christian McCaffrey. But closer, a player that's closer from a draft pedigree standpoint, stature standpoint, is A-Chain out of Miami. And look, talked about, you know, a Schottenheimer offense looking like the Shanahan tree. I said, well, let me go to the Shanahan tree and let me find a guy who I think can compare to a Blue. Hell, Blue was faster than A-Chain coming out, but A-Chain's also a speed demon. Both of those guys, 5'9" in stature. I think Blue is a little bit bigger than A-Chain. But you go look at how the Dolphins utilized A-Chain, whether it be out the backfield or in the slot, and here he's lined up in the backfield right now. One of the things you're going to notice from Miami is going to be their splits. The Cowboys for years have been a team that has been very, very wide in their splits. They will be outside the numbers a lot, right? Like these receivers will be outside the numbers. You'll notice here with Miami, these aren't extremely condensed splits in this play, but they're at the numbers here, right? In the slot. And we're going to get, I believe A-Chain is going to go in motion. And we're just going to get a screen pass and get elephants on parade, right? We want to get these guys out here and we want to get A-Chain. Next play. Now, we talked about those splits, right? I think this is what you're going to see a lot of this, a lot of condensed splits. And Coach talked about this. And what I love about being tighter in this way is you can trip up the second level of the defense. You can get easy picks. And when you combine it with pre-snap motion, at snap motion, post-snap action, play action, things like that, you're going to trip up the defense. And in this case, you get kind of a really half-assed play action, but it works. Run a RPO type of look, or if you want to call it run pass option type of look. Well, what it's going to do is it's going to take Kaiser White right out of this play. I mean, he gets completely lost. Let's take a look. And, oh, by the way, here's A-Chain, where he's in the slot, where we think that Blue could do some things out of the slot. So A-Chain gets that push motion. We get the play action, and Kaiser White is gone, ladies and gentlemen. He's gone. Elephants on parade. We got the numbers. A-Chain doesn't even need the numbers. He gets a touchdown. Another play from Miami here, right? Where we're going to get a couple motion. We'll get the H-back tight end motion out the backfield and make this look like a run with the pistol and get some play action. A couple things. The at-snap motion, I want you to take a look at Tariq Woolen and what that is going to do to the cornerback, who right now has his eyes on A-Chain, by the way, who is out here. Out wide right now, the number one. But when you get the at-snap motion and you get, here he is right here, Tariq Woolen has to stay out because of Tyreek Hill. But I want you guys to take a look at the backfield. We're getting play action, and with that play action, we're drawing these defenders. And when you draw those defenders with the at-snap motion, pushing out the cornerback, the play action, we're going to open up this space right here for our guy A-Chain. Simple yet effective ways to get a guy like A-Chain the ball. Now let's go to Shanahan's offense. This was back in 2023. The Eagles come out in a single high, and they're going to man up across the board here, which, I mean, I know Brock Purdy had to be just licking his chops when he saw this. Christian McCaffrey on the linebacker, this specific linebacker at that. I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? So Christian McCaffrey, they're going to motion Christian McCaffrey out. We want to make sure, we just want to make sure that this is man. And whenever you see that linebacker following in that way, we're going to get man. And we want this, I believe Jennings is going to run off this cornerback here. We're going to try to run interference. Doesn't really work much, but it doesn't matter. So now at that stem here, he can go multitude of ways. He can run a out route. He can come in. He can fake this thing and go up multiple ways. We got this corner getting ran off. We have this mismatch at linebacker. And just watch what Christian McCaffrey does to this man. And it's a simple kind of faking it out. He could have even sold a little more, but he didn't have to. Watch 41. I mean, he's done. Done. And we've seen Blue used in this manner in college. So for a guy like Schottenheimer, who we know has come out and said, hey, man, I don't mind stealing. I have stole. I steal plays, and I make it fit to what we do. When he gets his hands on what he can do from a schematic standpoint with Blue, I think you'll see a lot of that.